Whoa, what is this? Swords? What is this story called?
I'm honestly kind of astonished with how rarely this series is brought up in conversation. I mean, it has a killer first season. Manga books just look and are incredible. Personally, I think the story and art rival some of the best we've seen in the manga space. Those giants, those manga giants that are dominating your mind right there, I think you could put Vinland Saga right next to them. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Get out of here. Berserk? Get out of here. One Piece... I like you too much. Every man is a slave to something. It's a beautiful line, and the more and more you think about it, you realize how true it is. Askeladd. He's a cunning, manipulative, and sly motherfucker. He is the best and worst thing that has ever happened to Thorfinn. Thorfinn is like a 10, maybe 12, maybe 14 max-year-old kid who had to watch as his father got murdered unfairly by this dude that he now has to follow. That's it. It sounded like I was gonna say more, but there is not really much more to say. Thor's is Thorfinn's dad, who died in the way of a warrior. Thor's is awesome. The way these three clash in this first volume is spectacular. I love all three of them deeply. I think all three of them are such fascinating characters and are written so well. The narrative in the first volume is broken up into two pieces. We have the establishing war in present day, where we see the actual relationship between Askeladd and Thorfinn. Thorfinn has to obey Askeladd's orders, and in return, he will be able to get a chance at dueling Askeladd to try to, kill him. Do what his father couldn't back in the day. Askeladd sees him as just like a dog he could just get rid of. Oh, if he doesn't come back, whatever. I think the relationship is so much deeper than that, but that's what we see on the surface level. Man, it's just, there's these subtle moments in the story, and that's what makes Vinland Saga so nice. Thor's is dead. Rest in peace, Thor's. He used to be a part of the strongest military group on the planet, the Jomsvikings, but he gave it up. He wanted to start a family. He wanted to start a simple, quiet life. He didn't want to kill anybody anymore. He has no enemies. And this is an idea he tried to put into Thorfinn's mind before he sadly passed away. The three of these characters are awesome. The three of these characters are mind-blowing. And Thorfinn's backstory, showcasing all three of these head to head to head, it's so nice. Some of the standout moments for me is when Askeladd acknowledges Thor's in being a true warrior. The moment where Thorfinn is so enraged at what Askeladd did that he is just screaming that he's gonna kill him and take revenge. There's the moment Thor's traded 8 healthy sheep in return for a half-dead slave, just so he could live his final moments free and away from his master. Oh my god. This backstory is one that rivals One Piece's backstories. I don't know what else to compare it to. It's just like, it's so moving. It's so moving, and the climax of it all is just so heartbreaking. Now let's talk about the philosophy of Vinland Saga, because oh my god, that is one of my favorite things to talk about in any story. I like to refer to them as manga moments. Manga moments is a very general term. It is whatever in a manga stands out to me. Okay, so there's 2 panels that I want to point out. Askeladd is watching his uncle admire a coin. Money is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It sets human beings' hearts ablaze just by the simple look at it. Askeladd laughs at this ideology. We later on see the uncle mention that he used money to buy the slave girl. Now, the girl isn't really a good slave, but she looks good. A couple of pages later, we see the same uncle beating the slave girl because she's not really doing a good job. Now, Askeladd starts laughing at this and says that his uncle isn't actually the one that is in control. He's not the master in the situation. He is a slave to this coin and this girl. He thinks he's in control, but look at him beating this girl because she's not doing the right job. Who's actually the one being controlled by this scenario? Is it the girl for being herself, or is it him for having an ideology, for thinking differently, having his whole way of living altered because of the things around him? He's the one that's the slave in this scenario. And it took me a while to realize what Askeladd was talking about in this scenario. I think Askeladd is so wise. We later see that same girl talk to Thorfinn, relating on how them two seem very similar. Thorfinn rejects this idea, saying that he's not a slave and he's a free warrior. Yet since he's so free, why does he stick by Askeladd's side so much? Why does he let this hatred over the man who killed his father linger inside of him so much and dictate exactly how he's going to live? Why doesn't he just let it go? Thorfinn's father, Thors, also has a couple of ideologies. He says that Thorfinn has no enemies. None of us are really born into this life with somebody that we hate, somebody that we should attack. If I was born a baby goo goo gaga and I had a gun, well, I would probably shoot whoever. But it doesn't mean I hate them. I just don't know how to use the gun. Why'd you give a baby a gun? Honestly, it relates to what's going on in the world right now, with the whole like World War III BS that's happening. And everyone online doesn't want this war to start. And everyone is like, please, please, there's no need to fight. There's no need to fight. I think the world is finally getting to understand what Thor's meant. That nobody has any enemies, that we are all people, and that we should all be helping each other instead of hurting each other. Ugh, what an amazing first volume.